Well, you have to put out covers on your faucets in your home, but what have you done to protect the trees and everything else in your yard? We're here to talk about what you can do is Brian Cox from Davey Tree Company. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Okay, so where should we start because of the extremely cold temperatures?
Well, I think there's a couple of easy things you can do. First and foremost, believe it or not, a good watering tonight before the major freeze comes in would be great, and that's for new trees as well as old established trees. They can absorb that water through the root system, and it actually acts somewhat like insulation for the tissue inside the tree. And then another thing is mulching. Mulching the rings around new trees and maybe mulching your landscape beds will hold that moisture into the soil and help those guys out. Those are kind of two easy things to do.
Yeah, sounds pretty. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, so I was going to say, sounds pretty easy. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I really, another thing that's a little more complicated would be to try to cover things that you know are susceptible, maybe some non-native species or even brand newly planted trees. Cover them with a bed sheet or some burlap, something like that, to protect them against that wind. The wind is what can really do some damage to the tissue of the branches.
And yeah, and I was going to ask, do trees suffer frostbite?
They can, especially when we get down in below, 20 degrees or so. But again, that moisture is going to do a pretty good job inside that tissue of protecting them. Some, obviously it's species dependent. Some fruit trees are going to be more susceptible. Tropical plants like palms, things like that, are going to be more susceptible because they're just not designed to be living in freezing cold weather.
And Kylie has been tracking, when this deep freeze will come and timing it all out. So, what should people look out for once things thaw out and to know if their trees are damaged?
Well, typically we'll see some cracks in the bark, especially on the mature trees. And that's okay as long as the tree's somewhat healthy and looking okay and growing and doing its natural thing. They will seal those wounds up, but that's what you'll see mostly would be cracks along the bark of the main trunks and damage.
All right, sounds good. Well, I know you're very busy out there. We thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.